Hello, my name is Jim Solanowitz. I live in Shalosta. And hopefully in November, one of you guys will fill the shoes of the king of pork. And, you know, I always say one man's pork is another man's beans. And truthfully, that's a very difficult problem. There's people in Johnstown that be living off of pork. Government offices there that could have been someplace a little closer to D.C. Will you gentlemen have the discipline to recognize the difference between pork and beans?
Thank you. Yeah, without a doubt. There's some things that you can't, you just can't justify. Earmarks for studying the habitat of the naked mole rat, I think it's pretty obvious what that is, right? There's no question that the entire process needs to be reformed. And again, this isn't free money. It goes back to the issue. We're sending too much money to Washington and then just hoping and praying that we can get it back, and we're satisfied to get it back in any form that it comes. So the entire process is backwards. If we stop how much money the federal government is taking from us to begin with, then we won't be put in a position where we're begging to trying to get some of it back. And we can realize that this is our money. We don't want to waste our money.
Okay. You're up, Bill. Yep. Pork and beans.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly, and in terms of pork and beans, particularly with so many of those contracts that were brought in to this district, many of them were military related. Some of them were very, very clearly pork projects. Others do have a great deal of merit. And of course, the devil is in the details, but part of it is getting in, working with the Department of Defense to determine which of those projects were genuinely needed by the Department of Defense. And a lot of that has to do with that no earmark pledge, getting out so that those projects that are worthwhile are put into the federal budget, seen by everybody, publicly debated, and requested by the end user, as opposed to those projects that were simple awards of money hidden and removed from somebody's budget and channeled to close supporters. So there is a means by which you can determine that pork from the beans, and certainly we will look to doing that. But I concur that the main and important thing to do is to get control of our tax system so that we are not sending so much money to Washington that we have to fight to get back. And then two, to make sure that the funding that is going out and coming out of Washington is going to projects that are genuinely needed, whether it's by the Department of Defense or something that leads to economic prosperity, such as completing our road networks in this area.
Thank you. Hey, I got one that was passed up from the back. It says 2 words, card check. What do you think about card check?
I am absolutely opposed to the union card check rules.
I agree. I mean, the right to a secret ballot is key, and I would be absolutely against card check.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who's next?